Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to this third session on Node.js Bootcamp. So, I hope you guys have been through the first and second lessons of the bootcamp, and so today is the third one, and we'll be covering we are already ahead of the curriculum which we had decided. So we have already covered about Express.js and how to build a RESTful API. So today we'll be covering more about routing, like how to properly perform modular routing using Node.js, and then we'll be going through a mini project. Okay, so that mini project would be nothing but a simple sign up and login authentication. Okay, so that is the agenda for today. So I hope every one of you who has joined is excited. So let me see like how many people have joined till now. So once there is a good strength of attendance, I will start with the session. Right now, I see like there are not much people that have joined. So let's wait. Okay. So I see Ashwin, Shivi, and Ayush. Hi, good evening. Yes, Ayush, I remember you very well, and you have been one of the most enthusiastic student, and like you have actively participated in these 3 days boot camp. So I liked it very much. So and I hope you all the best in all your future endeavors wherever you are trying for a job or anything of your own. That's good. Okay, so let's wait for some few more minutes, like 2 minutes more, and then we can start. And then I'll recap whatever we have covered till yesterday, and then we'll start. Okay, I see Sandeep has also joined. Hi, Sandeep. Good evening. Pramada says good evening. Yes, good evening. Okay, Ayush says app.get/live. Hello, thanks for the bootcamp. Okay, thank you, Ayush. Sandeep is asking question, middleware is the same as three-tier application which deals with the business logic. Is it not? Yes, you can consider it like it's not exactly dealing with the business logic. Actually, the business logic is being written in your actual APIs only. It's a kind of a function that, like, you can consider it as a guard. Okay, let's say you have a building. Okay, so at outside the building you keep a guard, right? So that only like kind of authorized person or people with permission are allowed to enter that building. In the same manner, you can consider your APIs as the building and your middleware as the guard. So first, whenever a person from outside is coming, first they will encounter the guard. Okay, first they will encounter the middleware. Like if an API request is coming, that API request will first encounter the middleware, such as a person coming from outside encounters the guard. And if they are authorized or if they are like properly validated, then only they will be allowed to enter inside the building, or then only further API operations will be allowed. Otherwise, they'll be sent directly from outside only. Like the guard or the middleware will only handle them and send them outside. They will not allow them to perform operations on the database or anything like that. Okay. So Sandeep is telling three-tier architecture, front-end, middleware, back-end database. No, it's also not like that. It's not a like something settled it in the middle of front-end and back-end. Middleware is a part of back-end only. So Okay, so I think now around 30 people have joined. So let's start with today's session. Otherwise, we'll not be able to cover it. So let me quickly present my screen, and I'll first recap of whatever we did yesterday. So I have shared my screen. I hope it is visible to all of you. Okay. So give you a quick recap. Yesterday we discussed all about Express. So how we install Express. So a simple command npm install Express was there. How do we require Express? Then how do we like create a server using Express? Simple app.listen command was there, right? Like first we instantiate Express using const app is equal to Express. Then we use app.listen to create our server. Okay, so this is how we were like creating a server, okay, at a particular port we were listening, right? And after that we simply created get and post API. So to create a get API, simple the URL endpoint, then a function with request and response, okay, and doing as per the request. Like if you want to check something in the request, you can check it either in the params or directly in the URL. You can check it request dot, like either in the search like query parameters, so request dot query parameters, otherwise in the params only. So that is how we were doing. Then we had post APIs. So post API were allowing you to send some body to your code, okay. So request body was getting sent to your APIs. Okay, so that was all about your post request. So I hope that was like clearly understood yesterday itself. And then I also told you about NodeMon, how to install NodeMon. Again, it was a package which we installed using Node like npm. And then I also told you guys about Postman, which was a API testing tool. So that we installed, and we were using Postman only to test our APIs. Okay, so I hope all these things were clear. Okay. Mm, so yeah, okay. So now let's start with today's agenda. So today's agenda is all about routing. So proper routing. So till now also we were using routing only, but now today we will bifurcate our routes. Like there is a thing called express router. So that will allow us to like properly like clean our code and give different path for different kind of APIs. Okay, so till yesterday you might have seen like if we have different kind of APIs, one data API was there, one data API was there. So if I just create another API, right, like app.get slash simple slash, okay, and getting request response. So see, this is again a simple get API, and the route means path only. Okay, so the path of this is simple slash, and here it is simple data along with the parameters ID. Here it is again simple data. So you see these are different kinds of routes, right? So this is basically simple routing which we say. But now when let's say you are creating a big application, so you might not be having only 5 to 7 APIs, right? You might be having hundreds of APIs that you need to create. So for handling hundreds of APIs, it's not always that you write all the APIs in the same page. Okay, so let's take an example of a e-commerce website. So let's say you are building an e-commerce website. So in an e-commerce website, you have a login system, right? So that you can consider an authentication related APIs. So all the authentication related APIs you will keep in a separate file. Okay, then all the user related APIs like the user data, such as the username, address details, phone number details, and all the user related stuff like their previous orders, their order history, their cart, like current cart status. So all such APIs you will create in another file that will be users file. Okay, similarly, let's say you have another like the home page of Flipkart, let's say an e-commerce website such as Flipkart. So in the home page you see n number of orders appear. So all the APIs related to the product listing, they'll be put in another file which will be known as home file. Okay, home.js. Okay, so like that we can bifurcate our APIs. So that is the purpose of using routing. Okay, so what I'll be doing, I'll remove all this code which we have covered till yesterday, because otherwise it will create confusion. So I'll remove then this. Okay, so simple clean code I have kept here is simple, we have created a server. Okay, that's it and nothing much. So now I'll be define like telling you about uh, I'll be telling you about routing. Okay, and that is actually modular routing. Yeah. So modular routing, it allows you to bifurcate your APIs depending on the purpose uh, purpose of them, purpose or use of them. Okay. Okay, so it allows you to bifurcate your APIs in your application depending on the purpose or use of them. Like different kind of APIs will be uh, placed in different kind of APIs will be handled by different routes. Okay, so like right now you might not be understanding, but when I'll start coding, right, you will get an idea. Okay, so as I took an example, like all your login or authentication related APIs will be at one place. Okay, so let me do one thing. So let me actually I need to create some folders. So should I create it over here only or not? Let me think. Should I create it in a different place? Okay, fine. So I'll create it in a different place itself. So I'll like in this folder itself. So I'll come to Node.js Bootcamp folder. Okay. So I'll create a new folder over here and I'll call it routes. Okay. So here I'll be placing all the different files I'll be creating for different routes. Okay. So let's come back over here and I'll save this file. And what I'll do is okay, I'll create a new file and I'll call it JavaScript file only, and I'll save it inside routes folder. Okay, and I'll name this one auth.js. Okay, why auth.js? Because it will be containing all my APIs related to authentication, such as login or sign up. All those it will be containing. Okay, so I simply saved it. So you see now this auth.js is present inside routes folder. Okay, and not directly uh, in your index.js. Okay, so your server logic will reside inside your index.js, but the again the like as one like Sandeep I guess said about the business logic. So all the business logic related to authentication such as login and sign up, it will reside over here. Okay, so again what we'll do, again const express is equal to require express. Okay. Okay, and then here we will be using router. So const router is equal to express dot router. Okay. Okay, so this is how we will be approaching this. Now, what we'll be doing, we'll be writing our APIs. Like if you remember, till now we were writing our APIs using app.get and app.post, right? But now we are not using app over here. We are using router. So router is nothing but an like a router function of Express. So that we have instantiated over here. So now simply, let's say I want to write an API of sign up API. Okay, so how I'll be writing router, and since sign up is a confidential, like as login and sign up, all these are confidential, right? So you'll be using post API since it will not be exposing the data. So router.post slash let's say sign up request response. Other things will remain the same. No need to worry about other things. It will remain the same as we were doing earlier. Okay. So let's say const uh, username. Let's say I have made a sign up form. So in that sign up form, I'm taking the email, password, and name. Three things: username, email, and password. Okay. So I'm taking it inside request.body.username. So the three fields that I will be passing are username, email and password. Equal to request dot body dot password. Okay, so these three fields I will be taking as input from the user. Okay, so the user will be sending it from the front end, the browser or Postman. Right now, in our case, from Postman. Okay, otherwise from a browser. Okay, so what I want to do, I just want to save these detail in a database. So since right now in this bootcamp we are not dealing with a database, what I'll be doing, I'll simply be just simply kind of, let's say, what should I do? I'll simply be logging them. Okay, so okay, so console.log user details are as follows. Okay, so user details are as follows, and plus uh, I'll be having username, comma email, comma password. Okay, so like this I'm simply logging. Otherwise, what you do, what you will be doing, you will be firstly checking in the database if the same user, like if this user, a person with this username and email exists or not. If does not exist, then you will be adding that user in the database. Actually, like this is a part of our today's mini project, so I'm not covering this much in detail because later on we'll be doing it. So for now, you can just kind of understand about routing. Don't get lost about sign up thing. Just think about routing whatever we are doing. Okay, so response dot status 200 dot send user created successfully. Okay, so new user created successfully. So that's a simple sign up API. Okay, similarly we'll be having a login API. So again, I'll be copying this because I don't want to waste time. So this will be login. Okay, so login will have only the username and password. Email is not required. Let's say the person will log in using only username and password. Okay, and console.log. I'm not logging also anything this time. I'm simply telling that or what, like I'll simply put a check if username equal to let's say John Capio. Okay, so if the username is equal to this, then simply send this response that signed in successfully, logged in successfully. Else, simply send the response the 400 that invalid credentials. Okay, fine. So you now see we have created two APIs. So both of these APIs are related to your authentication, that is sign up and login. Okay, so now last thing that we need to do so that we can be able to use this file in our index.js file. So like in our index.js, we need to tell, right, that whenever a request comes to slash sign up, where we need to send the user to. Okay, so for that, what we'll do, we'll use module dot exports is equal to router. Okay, that's it. So our auth.js file is now ready. So now how we can use it in index.js? Simple. I'll come over here. Okay, so I'll come over here and use app.use. Okay, app.use. So again, it's kind of a syntax for using a middleware. So I'll tell it a path. So whenever the path comes as slash auth, just use which file. So I'll take that file over here. So const auth is equal to require. So require and dot slash route slash our auth.js file. Okay, so that the data of this auth.js file, it will export all the data of this file and it will come inside this auth. Okay, and which file to use? Auth. Okay, so that's it. So now whenever a request will come to, now let me type it. So whenever a request will come to uh, localhost 8080 slash auth slash something, it will go inside the file auth.js and check the API there. Okay, so what do I mean? Like, let's say some request come localhost 8080 slash auth slash login slash signup slash xyz. So whenever such kind of request will come, it will go where? It will go to this file. So it has imported auth, right? So this auth was nothing but your this file. Okay, so it will go inside this file and check if that endpoint exists or not, and if it exists, then it will come inside it and perform the operations accordingly. Okay, so that's it. So now let's quickly check it if it is working or not. Okay, so let's go back over here. So we had these APIs, right? So simple, we have created two post APIs, right? So one is login. So login, and what we have asked the username and password, two fields I have requested. So let's say John Tapio, which I have requested the user to send in case it's a correct user. Password ABCDEFGH. Okay, so that's it. So now, sorry, I just wrote it wrong. It should be auth slash login. Okay, so this is about routing. So now all the requests which will be going to slash auth, they'll be going to that file, your auth file, and inside that, if that API is present, it will run it. Okay, so now let's quickly run our server. I forgot to run the server. I'll go to my location cd desktop slash Node.js bootcamp. Okay, so nodemon index. Okay. Oh, okay, it crashed. I think something is wrong. I don't know. Can you see what is wrong over here? Oh, sorry. Actually, I have made a syntax mistake. It seems this router does not include this. Okay. So yeah, now it has started successfully. Okay. So that was an issue. Like I used round brackets over there by mistake, so it is not required. Let me run it again. Again, it is crashing. I don't know why. Let's quickly see what I might be doing wrong over here. Suppose that router is correct. The post is correct. This is correct. Okay, let me like place this above actually. Like this should be present at the top itself and not over here. Okay, so now yeah, it has started successfully. So now let's quickly test it out. So now we should get like signed in successfully. Okay, so yeah, see, we got logged in successfully as the response, right? Because our login API is working properly. So see, like how modular thing helped you. Like it helped you to bifurcate your different. So index.js is now clean, your authentication APIs are residing over here, and now I'll create other APIs such as your order history APIs and all those things. I'll create another file and I'll show you how it helped you to create like bifurcate your different kind of logics and different kind of files. Okay, so that is about your routing. So let me quickly go over here and create another file. So what I'll do, control N, JavaScript, and I'll save it inside routes. and I'll call it orders. Let's say we are building an e-commerce, so orders related. Okay, save. Okay, so that's it. Again, what we need to do, again same thing, const express is equal to require express. Okay, const router is equal to express dot router. Okay, fine, and simply router dot get. So uh, uh, all orders. Okay, all orders. It will give me all my previous orders, request response. So yeah. So like since it's a get API and I don't think so we'll be requiring any request body over it. Simply we'll be sending response. So response dot status 200 dot send. Uh, let's create a order like object orders is equal to, so it will be an array of objects. So let's say product name, mobile phone, price 50,000. Okay, so similarly I'll create few more, so that we call it microwave, price I'll say 10,000. Okay, and then I'll call it bicycle or bike, and I'll call it 25,000. Okay, so I'll be sending this object, so orders. Okay. Now what happened? Okay, I'll see, like first let me complete this. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so module dot exports is equal to router. Okay, so that's it. So now let's quickly come back over here and const, sorry, not auth, this time it will be order is equal to require dot slash route slash orders. Okay, so now we'll be having uh, app dot use orders. What you have to use? Order. Okay, so that's it. So now all the APIs related to your orders should come over here, right? So what we have made, all orders. Okay, so I don't know why this is crashing again and again. I'm not sure about it. Okay, now it has started successfully. Sometimes it's crashing. Sometimes I'll check this issue. Okay, fine. So all orders. So now let's quickly check. So all the orders that will go to slash orders followed by all orders will come here. Okay. So uh, orders slash all orders. Okay, so this is a simple get API. So now let's click on send. Okay, so you see we got all the data here, right? We got all the orders over here, right? So you see all the APIs now related to orders would be going to the path orders slash something. Okay, so let's say if I just create another API over here that we call router.get uh, uh, last order, let's say only the last requested order I want to get. Okay, request response. Okay, so response dot status dot send, and orders is an array, right? So I'll be sending the first element of it. Okay, fine. So I have created last order now. So now if I just go back and last order. Okay, so you see, we got only mobile phone. Okay, and instead of it, if all orders were there, we were getting all our orders, right? And similarly, in auth, if we made a sign up call, so in sign up we required username, password, and email also, right? So you see at gmail.com. Okay. So if I'll just call this API and this is a post API, so you see, so user created successfully. So you now see all our APIs are working fine and all are present in their own places, like in auth.js, order.js. So our index.js file will remain clean and it will only have your locations for different APIs, and it will not contain the logic or the operations that we need to perform. Okay, so this is about modular routing and how it helps you to like make your code cleaner and easy to understand. Okay, and easy to debug as well. Let's say in any case you face some problem in any one of the API, so you should be knowing that with where that API resides, right? If it is related to orders, it would be residing in this file. If it is related to authentication, it will be residing in this file, or n number of cases might be there, n number of files can be there. So in that cases, it helps you to easily manage your code. So yeah, so that was all about modular routing. So I hope I was able to make this point clear. uh, okay, so fine. So I hope this I was able to make this point clear. Okay, correct. Right. So if any doubts, please let me know. I'll go through the chat now. Ayush is telling port is already in use. Yes, correct. Actually, like I had two instances of my terminal open, so that is why this issue was coming. It's fine now. Change the port number maybe. Are you covering JWT in this? Yes, I'll be covering JWT and bcrypt. These two things I'll be covering in today's mini project on login system. So yeah. Okay. Any doubts in this routing thing? Uh, Modular routing in Node.js. And like I see Sandeep asked, like it is same to router in React.js. Not exactly. Like in React, what we do, like we have routes and we redirect the user to different components. So here we have different routes. We take the user to a different file where all the like singular routes are related to that file reside. Okay, so that is how. Sir, we can make an API with MVC pattern and it's good practice. Correct, Sachin? So it's a good practice. Like this is kind of covering your model view controller practice only using routing and all. So yeah, you can do that. I hope this was clear. No issues in this. I'll wait for a few minutes. If you guys have any doubt, post it. Otherwise, I'll start with the new topic. Let me see. Because Sandeep is asking, we use APIs to integrate between modules or only for inputs? I didn't get you exactly, Sandeep. APIs are basically used to like access data to the front end. APIs help you to get some data to the front end or receive some data from the front end and do some task with it. Okay. Then Sachin is asking, what is the difference between session and JWT token? So yeah, we'll be discussing this when we'll be starting with our mini project. Okay. So Ayush is asking, do you have other recommendations for mastering Node.js after this bootcamp? So yeah, just think about small projects. Like think about all the applications running around you, such as a e-commerce application or an edutech application or a food delivery platform, and think about all the APIs they might be using. So try to create those APIs on your own, okay, and try to integrate socket.io. So socket.io is one another important application in Node.js, so where you'll be able to like communicate in real time, all those things. So also try working with the databases and all. So that will make you an expert with Node.js. Okay. Okay, fine. So I hope this routing part is clear. So, okay, one thing I forgot yesterday, like I forgot about covering two more types of APIs that are like we covered get and post, right? But put and delete I forgot. Actually, to be frank, like that are not that much required. Like put is required, delete is not that much required, but still you should be knowing it. Okay, so today I'll be covering those put and delete APIs as well. So let's do one thing. In the auth.js, let's remove a user. So let's use our delete API to remove our user. Okay. So how do we write a delete API? So let me quickly write a delete API now. Okay. So delete API for removing a user from database. So right now we are not having a database, so I'm not I'll not be writing the logic, but simply I'll be writing the API. So router dot, as you were writing get and post, right? Similarly there is delete. Okay. Delete user. Okay. So request response. So which user I want to delete? I want to delete the user with the particular username. So username is equal to request.body.username, that will be sent from the front end. Okay. So I'll simply be sending a response.status 200.send uh, user with username plus username plus deleted from db. Okay, that's it. So simple delete API. So it will be allowing the user to send some request body, and depending on that, we'll be doing some operations and we'll be simply sending a response. Okay. So let's go back, and so it is auth only. So delete user. Okay, and I require only the username. Okay, so John Capio would be removed if I just send it. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not a post, actually it's a delete API, I forgot. Okay, so my application is there. So let's see. Okay, so user with username John Capio deleted from database. So like using such operations, like using delete and all, you can do such operations such as removing from database and all. So yeah, this is a delete API, simple example of a delete API. So router, and similarly we have a put API. So let's say if you want to edit the email of an existing user. So user details. Okay. So router dot put update user request response. So, so I want to update the user whose username is this, and I want to update the username. Like new email equal to request of body dot new email. Okay, so the new email would be sent in the body itself. Okay, so response dot status 200 dot send updated user, maybe. Okay, fine. So we'll be requiring these two fields. So let's quickly go back to Postman. And since it's a put API, let's change it to put update user, user. It will be John at the rate abc.com. Okay, so that's it. Simple put API. So updated user email, we got it. Okay. So like right now we are not doing any operations over here, but like when we have a real world scenario, we do some operations with this particular data, right? And yeah, then the stuff happens. Okay, so I think our APIs are also covered, modular routing is also covered. So that is all about kind of Node.js, the things that we have in Node.js. Rest is about exploring new things. So similarly, we'll be creating a project today. So I like it's around 45 minutes that we have. So we'll be creating a simple login and authentication system. So, and I'll try to cover most of the things such as bcrypt.js library in that, JWT authentication in that. So all those things I'll be trying to cover. So let's, if you guys don't have any doubts, let's quickly start with the project. So I'll give you guys 2 minutes. Just have a look at this code. Let me know any of your doubts in the chat section. Then we'll start with the project. So Yash says done. Okay, so I think then we are good. Okay, so Avneet is telling why you are not using import, why you are not used import keyword. So either we can use import keywords, otherwise we can use require. So in import, I preferably use in like front-end libraries such as React, and in backend library I make use of React because in backend such as Node, because I'm more comfortable with that. So if you wish, you can use import also, no issues with that. Okay. So if I remember, like there is the syntax like import uh, order from uh, dot slash route slash, okay, like that, or like as order. Yeah. So I think this should work exactly the same as the above line is working. So let me try. So it will clear your guys. No, I think some issue. Mm, okay, so it says cannot use import statement outside a module. So maybe we cannot use. I'm not very sure. I'll check this. You guys also check this because I haven't actually tried actually. So, but it should have worked. Um, okay. So I'll check this error why it comes. Okay. So like since it will take some time, it's better not to waste time on that and start with our mini project. Okay. Okay. So fine. Let's do one thing. I'll start a new project and or no better I'll do one thing. I'll close orders no longer required. This is fine. This is fine. Orders is not required. I'll remove that from here. App.use. This is fine. But no, before I don't want to remove all this stuff because I want to give you guys this file. So let me do one thing. I'll create a new project only. Okay. So I'll close this and I'll create a new mini project. Okay. So node project. Okay. So I'll be going to this and in folder and desktop and node project. Okay. Fine. So select a language, JavaScript, save it. So inside a node project, I'll be creating one index.js. Okay. So fine. So let's start. So const express is equal to require express. Okay. Const app is equal to express. Okay. Fine. Then app dot use. One thing that we use is express.json because that will only allow our application to understand JSON structure. Okay. So these three things we have done. Then app dot listen. So simply it will be like let's define a port is equal to 8080. Okay. App dot listen port and error. Okay, so that's it. So I have written the simple boilerplate code that will be I have written the boilerplate code that will help us to create a server. Okay, so simplest code that we have written. So now I'll be writing the auth route for our that thing for our login and authentication stuff. So let me quickly create JavaScript. Okay, save it. So what I'll do inside node project, I'll create a new folder and I'll call it auth again. Okay. So inside auth, I'll be creating this auth.js. Okay. Okay. So it's inside auth. Let me see if it's in the correct place. Yes, it's in the correct place. Okay. So let's go back to our auth file and do the things that we have already done. So const express is equal to require express. Okay. Then const router is equal to express dot router. Okay. So simple first API that I'm going to write is signup API. Yeah. But since we don't have a database, let me think if we can append some data. Let me do one thing. Here itself, I'll be creating a users file. Okay. So let's go back over here. Control in JavaScript file. So that I'll save as users.js. Okay. So that would be const users is equal to an array of users. Okay. So here we'll be having let's say username. uh, I'll be giving different values. Let's say John only, and email is john@gmail.com. Okay, and then password. So right now I'm entering the password like this. Later on we'll be using decrypt.js. Okay, fine. So we created one user. Similarly, I'll be creating few more users. So Ritika, and let's say Ritika, and password is this. Okay, and say Ayush, and Ayush, password is Ayush. Okay, so I have created this users. So let me just export it so that I'll be able to use module.exports is equal to users. Okay, that's it. So I should be able to use this users, like it's kind of replicating your database. Okay, so it's a database with these users. Okay, so now I'll be trying to use it over here. So const users is equal to require dot slash dot slash users. Okay, so I have called this users now. So I'll be simply writing a sign up API. So router dot post. Okay. So sign up, and it will be having a request comma response. So I'm trying to keep it as much similar to like original conditions, like real world conditions as possible, that we use in real life scenarios. Okay, so sign up, first of all what happens is uh, like we have a joey middleware as well, which like validates the input, but I won't be using it, so that thing you can put in later. So request dot body dot username. Okay, const email is equal to request dot body dot email. Okay, const password is equal to request dot body dot password. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to sign up, right? So first thing what I'll check, if okay, if a user with the same username exists in my database or not. So this is my database, kind of like a replication of a database. So first thing I'll check if the username is unique or not. If the user already exists, then what's the use, okay, of like adding the same user to the database. Okay, so what I'll do, first thing is users dot map ln. Okay, so this is again javascript. So what I'm doing, I'm simply looping over my users. So these are my users and I'm looping over them. So I'll be simply checking if if username equal to lm dot username. Okay, so in that case what I'll be doing, I'll be simply sending the response from here itself. Response dot status uh, like 401400, send user already exists, please login. Okay, fine. Otherwise what we'll do, simply users dot push. So users is an array, right? So what I'll be pushing an object with these three things. So username, email, okay. So okay, and I'll be pushing, and response dot status 200 dot send user created successfully. Okay, so that's it. I have written the simplest like sign up API. So here try to again understand what is happening. I am taking this input from the user. Okay, so with this input from the user, I am checking my users database, like users array. So I'm checking, I'm looping over my users array, and I'm checking that if any of the element over here, like either this or this or this, any of them, its username equals the username which I have taken from the user, okay, from the postman or from the front end. If it equals, then simply tell the user that the user already exists, so please log in. Okay, otherwise what to do, in the users array, just push this particular user with the details that I have received from here, okay, from the request body. Okay, so with those details I'll be pushing and telling that the user has been created successfully. So that should be our simplest sign up API. So let's see if it is working. If it works, then I'll be putting bcrypt.js for password encryption over here. Okay, so let's try it out. Let me also like go through the comments. Okay, fine. So let's quickly start our server and const auth is equal to require dot slash auth. Okay. So now what I'll do, app dot use. So whenever the request come to auth, just use auth. Okay. So now that's it. Now let's go to terminal. Okay. So I'm in the correct place, node project only. So node non index. Okay. Okay, sorry, I forgot module dot exports over here is equal to router. Okay. Okay. Still it is giving some error. Okay, actually, the location is incorrect. It seems it's dot slash auth slash auth. Okay. Mm. Actually, like I have given it the wrong name. It should be routes. Okay. Let's come back over here and give it routes. That's it. Okay. So now also I'm getting some error. It says express.router. Okay. So actually, let me open the file. It should be capital R. That was my bad. Okay, so server started successfully now, and yeah, we are all set to test our sign up API. So let's quickly check it out. Let's go to Postman auth slash sign up. Okay, and it's a post API. And what data we are requesting over here? Username, email, and password. So let's username, email, and password. Okay, so first thing I want to check is if it tells if the user already exists or not. So what was our user that I was okay? So let's try with John. Okay, so if I send John, it should tell me that this user already exists. So let's see. Okay, so see, it tells me user already exists. Please log in. Okay, so this works. Okay, so now let's try adding another user over here, and that is Sachin. Okay, so let's try this one. Okay, so it says user created successfully. So now let's see if, okay, actually like this, this is not possible. No. Okay, let's see our users. So in users, I think we cannot directly push a new user. Okay, so that is one thing, like we cannot directly like kind of push a new user over here. Otherwise, a new user would have been pushed here with the details that are provided. Okay, so that thing you can consider, that if you are providing a new user, what will happen? A new user would be pushed into the database. Like right now we are using an array over here, right? So similarly, one entry should have come over here, but since it is not possible, so we'll have to go away with it. Let me do one thing. Let me try once more. Okay, so yeah, so we cannot do that, right? So no issues, but I hope you understood like how we will be doing this stuff. Okay. So yeah, that was about a sign up API. So now let me tell you about this also, or let me think about one thing from through which we can add a user also. Let's see if any way is there. Actually, it should work. I am not sure why it is not working. Uh, I'm doing something wrong over here. Let me think about it. Like this should work. Okay, let me try. Like I guess this might be taking some time. So let's use async await over here. So const new user is equal to await users dot push. So this is. Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. Actually, like I made a JavaScript mistake over here. That simple mistake. Okay, so I should not have put it inside this loop, right? So this else is not required over here. And this I'll cut it from here. Okay. So if this happens, then just send this. Okay. Otherwise, uh, otherwise do this thing. Okay. So right, first it will check if the username exists. If not, then it will come here and send the status. Okay, so this should work now. Let us try. Okay, let's give it a try. So now I'm adding Sachin and Sachin at the rate this and password is this. Let's try. So it says user created successfully. So let's come back. Okay, and see. No. Still my user is not updated. It's not updated. Why it is not getting updated? It's not required. Not very sure why this is not working. Let's give it one more try. Otherwise, I'll assume that this does not work in this way and we won't be able to edit a static file. Okay, so I think we are not able to edit a static file and we cannot add data to a static file. So like you can consider that like this is what happens in a real database. Like in a real database, the data gets inserted into the database, but in a static file, you cannot add it. Okay, so that was about that. So let me quickly just explain you about bcrypt.js also. So bcrypt.js is nothing but a password hashing library. So in your database, you cannot directly put the password like that. Okay, so because it's not a good security thing, like it's a security concern if you put the password like that. So for that, we need a library called bcrypt.js. Okay, so I'll go to the documentation of bcrypt. Okay, yeah, so npm install bcrypt. Okay, so this is the library. Okay, so how do we use it? You can see the like documentation over here. Okay, so bcrypt.hash. Okay. So right now, okay, so this is how we can do it. That's simple as that. So let's quickly do that. So let's install bcrypt first of all. So I'll open a new terminal, npm install bcrypt. Okay, so okay, bcrypt is installed. So how to use it? Simply come over here, const bcrypt is equal to require bcrypt. Okay, so bcrypt, and now like let's say I want to hash a password before putting into the database. What I'll do, const hashed password is equal to bcrypt dot hash. Okay, and I need to put the data and some salt rounds. Okay, so salt rounds is nothing but like how much encryption you want to put on your password. Okay, so let's say my password is nothing but password, and salt rounds I want to put 10 only. Okay, that's it. So now I'll be putting this hashed password over here. So instead of the normal password, hashed password would be saved in my database. So if you want to see, so console.log hashed password. Also, like since this is an asynchronous operation, you need to use await over here. So our function is already async, so we can use await. And yeah, so now we'll be able to see the hashed password. So let's quickly go back over here and send the request to see if it's hashing or not. Okay, so you see this is the hashed password now. So the password which you sent from here was abcdefgh, but it has hashed it now, and this will be stored in the database. Okay, so this is how we like hash a password using bcrypt.js and store it in the database, so that direct passwords are not available in the database. Okay, so that in case your database gets leaked sometime or hacked sometime, the passwords are not stolen. Okay, so yeah, that is one thing. So your sign up API is done. So now let's quickly move ahead with the login API. So login API, so that will be again router dot post slash login. Okay, and it will be having request response. Okay, so yeah, so what we need to do, const username is equal to request dot body dot username. Okay, const password is equal to request dot body dot password. Okay, that's it. So first thing what we'll check is if username, uh, like first of all again we'll have to run the loop users dot map lm if, and like okay, if lm dot username equals to username, so that means the username is correct. Then what to do, if lm dot password. So like for this username, the same element's password should match the password provided here. So password, then response dot status dot send, status would be 200, log in successfully. Okay, so that's it for the first check. Okay, so if the username itself does not exist in the database, else uh, response dot status 200 dot send, user does not exist, please sign up. Okay, also one thing, like I'm directly checking the password over here, but since we'll be using bcrypt, then I'll show you how to check it. Here I'm just telling you about the logic. Okay, so okay, and like if the password is incorrect, then simply send response dot status 200 dot send, uh, invalid credentials. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. That's how simple is creating a login API. So let's try it out. Okay, so let's try with first, like without bcrypt, I'll be trying to log in with the username and password of John. Okay, so John. Okay. So let's go over here. That is login, username John, password is this. Okay, so that's it. Let's click on send. So it says logged in successfully, right? So now let's, okay, I think it's crashed as well. Okay, actually, mm, this issue comes, I understand why it is coming, because in the loop itself I'm trying to do again and again. So this should not be done. Uh, mm, okay, that's fine. I'll correct it. Okay, so let's try adding incorrect password. Okay, so I added incorrect password. So let's try now. So it says invalid credentials. Okay, this time also it works. So now let's try a username which does not exist. Let's try that. Okay, so user does not exist, please sign up. So all our conditions are working perfectly, right? So now let's try with the correct condition again. Logged in successfully. So all our conditions are working perfectly, right? So that means our login API is also working, right? So one thing, like we directly don't compare the password because it would be encrypted, right? So for that we again use bcrypt. So bcrypt.compare. So how does it compare? So simple. So instead of this, what we'll do? Const hashed uh, or const, no, 1 minute, const check or validate is equal to await decrypt dot compare, and what we need to compare, lm dot password with the password we have got. Okay, right, and like this should be an asynchronous function. Okay, sorry. So okay, so this is fine. Or let me write it in a better way. Okay, so this is creating issues, right? Like this is giving error also. So let me do one thing. If element dot username is equal to username, so what I'll do, I'll remove all of this. So return me only that element in which lm dot username equals to username. Okay. Um, that's fine. And I'll take it in the const user is equal to this. Okay. So now I'll check what. So now this will do is what, like it will just give me that particular user whose username is equal to the username provided in the request body. Okay. So now if I'll check if username is not empty, so dot length, because it will return an array, right? Length is not equal to 0. Okay, so that means we got a user. Otherwise, if the length is 0, that means the user does not exist. So status 201 dot send, user does not exist, please sign up. Okay, and otherwise, uh, const validate is equal to bcrypt await bcrypt dot compare uh, username at 0, like it will return an array. So dot password comma with password. Okay, so if validate validated if validated response dot status 200 dot send, and I'll be sending two things. One is message, so that will say log in successfully, right? And the other thing is email. So email would be user, sorry, this should be user dot length. Okay, user at 0 dot password, user at 0 dot email. Okay, right. Okay, and else response dot status 400 dot send invalid credentials. Okay, so that's it. I guess my API login API is now proper and it is ready. So now let's test it out. Okay, so okay, let's test it out. So John and ABCD. So let's see. Okay, so we got an error, it seems. Let's see what is the issue. Uh, return hash arguments required. Okay, it is giving error in bcrypt only. So let's see. Write 0 dot password comma password. Let's quickly see the documentation again. If I'm using it correct. Dot compare. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let's go here and 0 dot password. Okay. Now let's test again. Okay, we got the same error, it seems. Return hash argument required. Okay, let me do one thing. Let's check what this is returning. Okay. Using element lem.username is equal to username. So we have this username John, right? Let's see if it is returning or not. So console.log. So this is, I'm debugging user. Okay. So let's try again and see what we are getting in the console. Okay. Sorry. So this is again I think await. Why it is taking some time? Okay. Hmm. Okay, yeah. So this time it worked. Okay. So now we got the user over here, John, and this and ABCDEFGH. Okay. So our password is not encrypted, so that is why it said invalid credentials. So if we would have stored the correct hashed password, right? So it would have not said that. So let me do one thing. I had that somewhere, right? Let me save that one. Yeah. But actually it will hash different, but let's try. Let's open our users and put the hash password in. So now let's try. Okay, so logged in successfully, and we got the email of the user which we have logged in with. Okay, so now it should work every time. It's just that we don't have the hashed password. So uh, okay, so now let me send a user which does not exist. So John ABC. So see, user does not exist. Please sign up, and let's try some wrong password. Okay, John ABC does not exist. John exists. So invalid credentials. Okay, and user does not exist. And the third case was three cases were there, right? Logged in successfully. Yeah, so logged in successfully we were getting already. So yeah, so right, all our three cases are now working perfectly. So yeah, so this is how we have created our login API. So now the next thing that I want to tell you guys is we still have 5 minutes. So actually there is a, but JWT cannot be covered in 5 minutes. So still, but I can give you an overview. So JWT npm, if you go, it's again a JSON web token library which you can install from npm. So simple npm install JSON web token. So let's quickly come over here and install it. And how do we use it? Simple. So whenever we need to send some data not in open format, if you might have seen, I was sending the email ID directly over here as a response, right? But I don't want this to be directly sent as the response. So what I can do, I can convert it into a JSON web token, so it is kind of encrypted. So how to do that? So jwt.sign the payload, that is our email, and a private key. So let's quickly come back over here and use const jwt is equal to require JSON web token. Okay, and here I was sending the uh, email, right? Logged in successfully and email. So if validated, const data const token is equal to jwt dot sign, and what I need to sign, user at 0 dot email and my key. So my key, this you can give anything, your choice. Okay, and this will again be an asynchronous operation. So again, I think this is not an asynchronous operation, it seems. So and here instead of this I'll be sending token. Okay, so now what I'll be getting a token instead of the email ID. Okay, so let's try. So you see, we got this token. So now instead of revealing the actual data, you will be sending a kind of a token so that the user's data would not be exposed in the front end. So that is about JWT. So there is much in detail about it. Like every time you need to check its expiry whenever you make further calls to your backend database, like to your backend APIs. Every time you need to check whether it's correct or not, whether it's fabricated with some wrong things or like that. So that is about your JWT. So we have covered bcrypt and JWT as well, and we have created a small project about login and sign up. So yeah, that was it that we could have covered in this 1.5 hour session. So yeah, so this 3 day session on Node.js Bootcamp ends over here. So if you liked the sessions, please do like and subscribe the channel. Also, please share this as much as possible. And if you like the courses over here in Let's Upgrade, you can always take a full-time course in Let's Upgrade. Okay. So it was good to have you guys for these sessions on Node.js. So yeah. Thank you so much, and I'll be providing this entire files to Anam ma'am. She will be providing to you guys. Okay. So yeah, that would be it for these sessions. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. So I hope to see you guys in the next boot camp that we'll be having. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone.